Hello, and thank you for watching today's Northeast Regional Forecast. I'm Andrew Pritchard, meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Over the next 5 days, or 10 days really, we're going to be watching a transition from a summer-like pattern across parts of the eastern Corn Belt into the southeast into a much more seasonally appropriate pattern. That means a cool down for folks who have been enjoying some of that warm weather on the southern end here. That means parts of Pennsylvania, parts of southern New York State, and south from there. Across the north, it's been rather chilly for the last 5 days or so, and it's going to continue to do so for the next 10 days as we hold on to some cooler temperatures across the north, parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Over the next 10 days, precipitation stacking up in a corridor from the southern plains into the Great Lakes and eventually into the northeast region, heaviest across central portions here, New York State, New Hampshire, Vermont, into parts of Massachusetts, and south from there, starting to stack up as we get into the mid part of the 10-day forecast. We'll take a look at that here in just a moment. The last 24 hours of precipitation, you can really draw in the surface pattern here. We've got an area of high pressure off to the southeast, clockwise flow around that, pumping Gulf of Mexico moisture northward. We've got the jet stream doing something like this with that trough in the west, the ridge in the east. We've got showers and storms on the dividing line between the cooler air coming in on the backside, that warmer air feeding in from the south here from the Gulf of Mexico with that area of high pressure and the jet stream combining there. And then we've got the battle zone, which would be across the central plains here with repeated rounds of showers and storms developing there, and then kind of riding the jet stream up to the Great Lakes and then on into parts of the northeast region. You can see that once again when we look at the surface flow or the satellite picture here on Tuesday morning. Again, the flow doing something like this around the jet stream. We've got that area of high pressure off to the south with southeast with clockwise flow around that. I apologize. And so here it is once again, colder on the backside, warm air coming in advance, and then along that dividing line, the areas of showers and storms developing, and then riding that ridge through the Great Lakes and into the northeast region. The radar as we wake up on Tuesday morning, very active across the central plains, and then we've got some showers and storms making their way through parts of the northeast region as well, heaviest across central New York as we wake up on Tuesday morning. Taking a look at the surface picture, this is the front that's responsible right now for the showers and storms moving through New York, and that'll continue to move on through parts of New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine as we head through the next 24 hours. We're going to watch this area of low pressure finally start to swing off to the east and drag this front on through the Midwest into parts of the northeast region as we get into the end of the week. This is what we'll be looking at on Thursday morning. Again, this area of low pressure starting to move in from the central plains, tracking through the Great Lakes, taking with it the frontal boundary and bringing precipitation and cooler temperatures into the northeast region as we head through the end of the week. The severe weather threat, not very high. We've got a slight risk across parts of the central plains into the Midwest, with a marginal risk in parts of New York State during the day today, and then the severe weather risk really falls off, especially across the northeast region as we head into the end of the week. Now here comes the frontal boundary, bringing this change. We've seen summer-like weather from the central and eastern Corn Belt into the southeast and parts of the northeast region. That is going to be coming to an end with cooler air both sinking in from the northwest and then kind of coming in from the north as well as we head through the next 24 to 72 hours. The precipitation forecast will kind of step through time with this one, taking it through the day on Tuesday. Once we get the scroller bar to change over here, there we go. Let's bring it back to Tuesday morning, watching these showers move through parts of New York, parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine as we go through the day today. Going into Tuesday afternoon, watching for perhaps some showers and storms to flare back up across parts of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. That's where we could see a low risk of a strong storm across primarily parts of western New York State. But the active weather continues as we head through Tuesday night into Wednesday, watching for perhaps several more rounds of showers and storms tracking through the region here. Right through this corridor here seems to be the favored area, and that again includes parts of New York State, northern portions of Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. Perhaps very active as we head through Tuesday night, Wednesday into Wednesday night, and then we watch this frontal boundary kind of finally push through late week. We'll take a look a little bit longer here at the GFS in just a moment. I did want to show that we do have enough colder air coming in that we may see some snow across parts of the Dakotas into northern Minnesota as we head through Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So wintry precipitation starting to show back up, getting that unfamiliar blue color on the precipitation type forecast. We'll have to get refamiliarized with that as we head into the next few months. Total precipitation, again, kind of following this corridor from the southern plains through the Midwest into the northeast region. Again, stacking up over the next few days, perhaps an inch or two in some of the hardest hit areas through parts of Pennsylvania and New York into New Hampshire and Vermont. Looking at the GFS, we can take this out a little bit further. We'll watch this first system kind of clear through over the next couple of days. Here it comes, watching this on Wednesday, getting into Wednesday night now. Thursday, the system finally swings on out of here. We quiet down for a couple of days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with high pressure parked over the area. On Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, perhaps seeing another front move through with heavier precipitation as we get into early next week. This would be Monday, and then perhaps into Tuesday, seeing a more significant rainfall risk. So it's hit or miss as we head through the end of this week, getting into earlier next week as this system swings through Monday and Tuesday, perhaps a more significant dose of precipitation. We'll see that here on the 10-day precipitation forecast. You see that first round, and then it's next week that we see another additional round here across parts of the East Coast stacking up here. So the main corridor over the next 5 days going to be this one here from the southern plains through the Great Lakes into the Northeast region. And then as we get into early next week, perhaps watching another system bring some more significant precipitation to parts of the Northeast region as well, Monday and Tuesday. Again, here comes the cooler air from the northwest and from the north as we head into the next week or so, bringing our first dose of some freezing temperatures perhaps as we get into the weekend. We'll time that out here in just a moment, looking at the temperature forecast for the next 5 days. Your highs for the day on Tuesday, this will be today, anywhere from 90 degrees across the west here. This will be near the Ohio and Pennsylvania border, where we could see high temperatures near 90, all the way into the 50s across parts of Maine. So a big transition there from 90 degrees to the mid-50s, just over the distance here of about 200 to 300 miles. Looking at the highs on Wednesday, we start to see some of that cooler air sinking southward. Highs anywhere from the mid-80s in Pennsylvania to the upper 40s in northern Maine. Cooler air still sinking further south as we get into Thursday, Friday, and then by the time we get to Saturday, high temperatures widespread from the upper 50s or the upper 40s into the mid-50s and 60s for the afternoon on Saturday. Your low temperatures, the core of the coolest air, are going to be located here Thursday through Saturday. You can see overnight low temperatures dropping below freezing across northern regions here on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Same story on Thursday night into Friday morning, and then on Friday night into Saturday morning, perhaps a more widespread frost with overnight low temperatures perhaps dropping below freezing across parts of New York State into New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have our long-range U.S. weather analysis tomorrow morning. That would be Wednesday. An in-depth look at the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Thursday morning ag forecast video. And I'll be back to talk about the Northeast region once again on Friday morning. Have a great day.